situation over the 12 years that I've been here entertaining you on television. Welcome to Hot Topics, Sharina Hudson. Getting out of my car with my money. Good morning, Journey. She'll be almost, I think she'll be 3 next month, don't you know? Good morning, Kelvin.
For years, everything looked perfect from the outside. Designer bags, luxury cars, private trips, and the ultimate soft life aesthetic plastered all over Instagram. But behind the glitz and glamour, the truth was far messier. This wasn't just any couple living large. This was Kevin Hunter, the ex-husband of Wendy Williams, and SERENA Hudson, the woman he risked everything for. And then Wendy's world crashed. Guardianship battles, frozen bank accounts, and the abrupt end of her TV career didn't just shake Wendy. They sent Kevin and Serena's fantasy life crumbling too. What had once been a secret romance fueled by money, power, and betrayal quickly became a desperate fight for survival. Rumors say Kevin vanished, Serena struggled to stay afloat, and everything they built off Wendy's dime was falling apart in real time. Before Serena even entered the scene, Wendy and Kevin's story was already explosive. Married for over 2 decades, their relationship had highs, lows, and a divorce that grabbed headlines, not just for the emotional fallout, but for the financial settlement that left Kevin living large. Insiders revealed that Kevin walked away with a lump sum payout plus alimony checks of $250,000 per month. That's $250,000 every month, more than enough to fund a life of luxury. But there was one tiny catch buried in the divorce decree. If Wendy's TV career was suspended or her contract ended, the alimony stopped. At the time, nobody thought it would matter, but when Wendy's career faced an unexpected halt, the financial safety net Kevin relied on vanished almost overnight. That single clause quietly foreshadowed the collapse of the lavish lifestyle he and Serena had grown used to. And it all began with Wendy stepping away from the spotlight. Then came Sharina Hudson, the woman who would soon become the center of the storm. On Instagram, she had it all. A child with Kevin, designer wardrobes, luxury vacations, and a life funded entirely by Wendy's money. Social media painted her as untouchable. Brunches, beach days, gym sessions, and vacations that looked straight out of a magazine. But behind the filters and perfect selfies, things were far from stable. According to insiders, Serena wasn't just Kevin's partner. She was part of a world built entirely on someone else's fortune. She loved the lifestyle, and Kevin made sure she had it, one source told us. But they never thought about what would happen if the checks stopped. When Wendy's finances were suddenly frozen, cracks began to appear. Serena deactivated her Instagram, vanished from public view, and began hustling to rebuild her life. The glamorous, soft life was over, replaced by a reality she hadn't prepared for. How much of Serena's world depended on Kevin? And how much of Kevin's world depended on Wendy? Just when it seemed like Serena and Kevin's world was secure, Wendy Williams faced one of the most dramatic twists in her life. In 2022, Wendy was placed under a strict guardianship, a move that shocked fans and insiders alike. Her bank accounts were frozen by Wells Fargo, and a court-appointed guardian took control of her finances, effectively locking Wendy out of her own money. The reason? Officials claimed there had been suspicious activity, raising questions about her ability to manage her finances. But later assessments confirmed that Wendy was fully competent, with no signs of dementia or incapacity. For over 3 years, she had been under a guardianship she neither needed nor requested. Suddenly, the woman who built an empire on her voice and her career had almost no control over it. For Kevin and Serena, this should have been a wake-up call, but they initially tried to treat it as a temporary hiccup. After all, Kevin had a history of relying on Wendy's wealth, and Serena's lifestyle had been built entirely around it. But the reality was harsh. With Wendy's income frozen and her guardianship in place, the financial lifeline that had sustained their soft life was gone. This wasn't just about luxury cars or designer labels. Without access to Wendy's money, Kevin faced mounting bills, mortgages, and even car loans that he could no longer cover. And for Serena, the Instagram-perfect lifestyle began to crumble. The dream was over, and the collapse was only just beginning.
As Wendy fought to regain control, Kevin made headlines again, this time with a $250 million federal lawsuit. Claimed to be filed on Wendy's behalf, the lawsuit targeted her guardian, the judge, Wells Fargo, and several others involved in managing her affairs. Kevin alleged that Wendy's rights were violated, her privacy invaded, and the guardianship was abusive. Staff allegedly took secret photos of her, and Kevin painted a picture of her life being mismanaged at every level. On the surface, it seemed he was protecting Wendy, but insiders called it a desperate money grab. The court quickly dismissed part of the lawsuit, ruling Kevin could not file on her behalf since he no longer had legal authority. He was told to refile on his own, raising more questions about his motives. Timing was everything. Wendy's income frozen, Kevin's lifestyle collapsing, and Serena suddenly forced to hustle for survival. It wasn't the first time Kevin had tried bold financial maneuvers. He previously alleged that Wendy had hidden $48 million during the divorce and even tried to overturn the settlement. But many viewed this lawsuit as nothing more than a bid to keep the money flowing, a desperate attempt to survive the life he'd grown accustomed to. While Kevin made waves in the courtroom, Wendy Williams remained remarkably calm and clear about where she stood. Publicly, she denied having any knowledge of the $250 million lawsuit, calling it a money grab and insisting that Kevin was acting on his own, not for her benefit. Fans were stunned. The woman who had been at the center of so much media attention was now taking a firm stand, reclaiming her narrative from the chaos. Wendy's lawyers quickly jumped in, pushing back against Kevin's claims. They argued that he lacked authority to file the lawsuit and that his actions were misleading, even potentially harmful. At the same time, new assessments revealed that Wendy was fully competent, with no signs of cognitive decline, a fact that completely undermined the foundation of the guardianship. This was more than a legal battle. It was a fight for control over her own life. The story painted a stark contrast. Kevin, scrambling to protect his finances and lifestyle, and Wendy, quietly asserting her independence and reclaiming her voice. And as Kevin's desperate lawsuits unfolded, the public started asking the same question. Was he really fighting for Wendy, or just for the money he'd grown accustomed to? Meanwhile, Serena's position became even more precarious. Without Wendy's income backing their lavish lifestyle, the luxurious trips, high-end dinners, and designer wardrobe could no longer be maintained. And this set the stage for the next chapter in the saga, the unraveling of Kevin and Serena's relationship. As Kevin's financial world collapsed, Sharina Hudson's seemingly perfect life began to crumble too. The woman who had built her image around luxury and the soft life suddenly faced reality. Without Wendy's checks flowing in, the lifestyle she depended on was unsustainable. Reports suggest that arguments erupted between her and Kevin, with both struggling to figure out how to maintain what they once took for granted. Serena reportedly deactivated her Instagram and moved back in with her mother, taking a step back from the public eye to rebuild her life. Sources claim she turned to her vegan food business and earned her real estate license in Florida, hustling to create an independent income for herself and her daughter. The soft life image was replaced by a more grounded, self-sufficient approach. Meanwhile, Kevin allegedly has not paid child support and showed little urgency to adjust his spending habits, leaving Serena to pick up the pieces. Rumors are swirling that the couple has gone their separate ways, though nothing has been officially confirmed. Fans and insiders alike are calling it karma, a reminder that living off someone else's wealth can come crashing down unexpectedly. The story of Serena and Kevin is a cautionary tale about dependency, ambition, and the consequences of building a life on someone else's money. The glamorous posts and designer labels may have fooled the public, but behind closed doors, reality had a much harsher truth to reveal. The saga of Wendy Williams, Kevin Hunter, and Sharina Hudson is a story of power, betrayal, and the fleeting nature of money. Kevin's reliance on Wendy's income, Serena's life built on luxury, and the sudden collapse of their financial world show how quickly everything can unravel when the foundation is gone. Wendy, once at the center of a media empire, has had to fight to reclaim control over her life and finances. Kevin's desperate lawsuits, Serena's pivot to independent work, and the unraveling of their lavish lifestyle highlight the high cost of dependency and ambition built on someone else's success. And now, the burning question remains: is Kevin truly fighting for Wendy, or is this just another attempt to keep the money flowing? And where does Serena go from here, now that the dream life is over? One thing is clear: the world is watching, karma has played its part, and the soft life fantasy has been replaced by the reality of survival, reinvention, and accountability. What do you think? Will Kevin and Serena recover, or is this the end of their chapter? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe to Hollygossipwood for more updates on this shocking story.